What's up guys, Miles here with 95Mac, and if you're a fan of good ideas, consider subscribing to the channel for future content like this. Today I want to take a look at some awesome new accessories for Moment's MagSafe line of products, because I personally found them to be really cool to use and have some real world examples of what you can do with this gear. People have asked me a lot over the years how they can get into YouTube or entry-level filmmaking, and gear like this is what makes things really accessible and really lowers the barrier of entry for a lot of people. The first product I want to take a look at is the Mobile Filmmaker Cage. This is an aluminum cage with a MagSafe mount in the middle, and as you can see here, there are a bunch of 1/4-inch mounting screw holes all around the cage, which makes it very easy for mounting accessories that you'd use with an actual camera rig. The first accessory I mounted to it was a top handle from Small Rig, and I'll be sure to link all of the accessories in the description below. And this makes it even easier to use this rig and carry it around. And I'm a big fan of the fact that these accessories look like they go together, even though they were made by completely different brands at completely different points in time. I also mounted a GVM LED light that attaches directly to the hot shoe mount on my top handle, and that's pretty handy for getting some extra light in the shot. The only thing I find weird about this cage is the fact that there isn't a mounting point directly in the middle where the MagSafe attachment is mounted, but given the fact that the lens of your smartphone camera isn't placed directly in the middle of the body either, it's not really a deal breaker in my opinion. And mounting your iPhone to the MagSafe mount is pretty seamless as well. It may be a bit awkward to put on and off with the lens accessories directly attached, but the strength of the magnet is very confidence inspiring, and I've never been concerned about my iPhone coming on and off when moving around with this, or walking at a normal pace, or jogging at a normal pace. Overall, I really like the quality of this cage in general. It's built very well, and I feel like I could literally use this thing forever. Next up, I want to take a look at the Anywhere strap mount for MagSafe compatible iPhones, and this is one of those accessories that I'll just keep in my bag just because there are many different scenarios where you can make a decent use out of something like this. If you're renting a city bike or something like that, this is a very convenient way to mount your iPhone. Personally, it's really useful for me to use my iPhone with this on the treadmill at the gym, and I think Moment knew this, which is why the Anywhere strap is also sweat resistant, making it durable for a lot of physical activities. And just like the Mobile Filmmaker Cage, this accessory uses Moment's proprietary magnet configuration called M-Force. This makes sure that your iPhone doesn't fly off the MagSafe mount when moving around with it, and that's obviously a super important feature for MagSafe to have. So for $40, this is definitely a really nice accessory, and assuming Apple keeps MagSafe around, this is an accessory that you could make great use out of for years to come. I know I probably will. Out of all the MagSafe accessories to be released since 2020, by far the most important one for me to have has been MagSafe car mounts. I've gone through a few of these from different brands and found that a lot of them are not very solid over time, but thankfully that's something I don't think I have to worry about with this adjustable car vent mount from Moment. It's built so solidly, and you can feel that when getting it in your hand. The adjustability is very firm and solid, so you know your phone won't be flopping around while you drive. And the rubber grip used to hold the mount onto the AC vents is really solid, and I've yet to experience this mount falling off my vents once while driving. And just like the other accessories I mentioned, this mount has M-Force magnets, so the strength for keeping your iPhone on the mount is very confidence inspiring. My only wish for this mount, or at least a future version of this mount, is that there can be one that also charges my iPhone. If Moment made one that did that, this would pretty much be perfect in my eyes. But other than that, this is a pretty solid investment if you like using a wireless car mount, especially a MagSafe compatible one. If you've ever seen a J.J. Abrams film like Super 8, The Force Awakens, or Star Trek, then you might be aware of a certain look that a lot of his films have, and that's because he often uses anamorphic lenses. An anamorphic lens is essentially a lens that gives you a super widescreen look within a 16:9 frame, and when pointing a light source directly into the lens, you get these cool light beam effects, which is something that a regular spherical lens just can't do. Anamorphic lenses for mirrorless and cinema cameras are typically extremely expensive and usually out of the budget range for an amateur shooter or even an entry-level professional, but Moment has taken this technology and scaled it down into a lens that will actually fit onto your iPhone, and it only costs $150 normally. Moment creates two different versions of this lens, one that gives off a blue flare and one that gives off a gold flare. I've got the blue variant here, and I personally find that the blue is a lot more striking on camera, but both are really cool for what they can do. Compared to an equivalent lens you'd use on an actual camera, this is a total bargain, and it's a really fun lens to use, and I'll demo a little cinematic sequence I shot on my iPhone a little later. But I gotta say that stuff like this is really fun and takes the mobile shooting experience up a few notches for sure. aperture. Mounting the lens to the iPhone is pretty simple. You firstly have to utilize one of Moment's MagSafe cases, which allows you to remove the camera lens cutout and insert one that allows you to mount a Moment lens directly onto it. And keep in mind that this anamorphic lens is only compatible with the wide and telephoto lenses. The ultra wide is obviously way too wide to use with this lens. But I'm definitely a big fan of the modularity that these Moment cases offer. You don't always have to use the weird looking lens mount camera cutout. You can pop it out and return to the normal one if you'd like. Things like that are really convenient. It makes you a lot more eager to use the accessories more often. The last accessory I want to talk about that truly is the cherry on top for this mobile filmmaking kit is the 67mm Cinebloom Diffusion Filter. This is a filter that you can use with an actual camera lens if you'd like, but Moment provides an adapter that allows you to use the Cinebloom filter on top of an anamorphic lens or one of their other lenses. This lens gives your footage a very dreamy, film-like look that is such an awesome stylistic tool, and it gives everything you shoot a noticeably more smoothed out look. And you can snag one of these for under $80, which is pretty good compared to a ProMist filter or something like that. And when you combine this with the anamorphic lens, it's surely a lot of fun to shoot stuff. Now I combine all these accessories, the filmmaking cage, the anamorphic lens, and Cinebloom filter, and put together a little cinematic sequence just showing you guys what's possible with this gear. And I really wanted to go outside and capture real-world environments, but the weather didn't allow for it, so I hope this works. I showed this footage to a few people and some couldn't believe that some of these shots were taken on an iPhone. And of course I did additional work on that footage in post, but a lot wasn't different from the image that came straight out of the camera. And this overall proves that anyone looking to get into video with a very small budget, you don't need to buy a $2,000 mirrorless camera or cinema camera. You don't always need to hire someone to shoot something for you. The grand total of all this was well under $500, and you can get some pretty good looking results with ingenuity. Accessories like this have dropped the barrier so low for getting into creating high quality content, and so if anyone watching this wants to get into some iPhone filmmaking or just really wants to get some cool MagSafe accessories, these are all products I'd highly recommend. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Go make something.